Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. I really apologize. First and foremost, I apologize. I ran into a thunderstorm on the way home today from work, and I'm finally here, guys. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for those who waited. Al, thank you. Jimmy was in there. My guest, he was in there in the chat as well. Al, Goomba, Santa Rica, Baisan, how you doing, brother? Thank you for jumping in, man. I asked Al if he could jump in there, kind of keep things in order till I got in here. But yeah, he's backstage. I mean, he's in the chat already. Yeah, okay, Al. So I'll be right back. Okay, awesome. So guys, today I have an awesome Bigfoot, or actually multiple Bigfoot encounters, and possibly some paranormal encounters if we have time. Because Jimmy Blanton, he's my guest tonight. He's he's had Bigfoot encounters as well as paranormal encounters. So hopefully he can give us some of those too today. And he's backstage right now. I'm gonna bring him on so he can introduce himself and everybody can see who I'm talking about. Jimmy, okay? Hey Jimmy, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, L?
Oh man, yeah, man. All this damn rain in Texas, brother. Man, it's just it gets
It's
so
the same way
yeah,
here, man. It's been crazy over the past, like week. Every
yeah,
other day, raining for a little while and then
yeah,
quitting. And
yeah, exactly. Like over here, dude, it hadn't rained for like 2 3 months already, man. Like no rain whatsoever, right? And all of a sudden, boom, we just get bombarded with tons of rain, dude. Like just pouring and pouring. Like for it's been all week basically. Like you said, off and on, but little thunderstorms here and there. But it's been here, man. You know what I mean? It's just like man. When there's nothing, there's nothing. But when it comes, oh man, there's
hurricane season,
yeah,
man, you
all
gotta
hell
love
breaks
it.
loose. Yeah, all hell breaks loose, man. God darn it. That's the thing about Texas, man. A lot of people might not know that. Texas is very extremist. I know you're in Kentucky, Jimmy, but Texas is very extremist. It's either real hot or real cold. Like there's hardly no in between. You know what I mean? It's like we
That's the
don't,
bad thing about
right?
Kentucky's to Texas, man. Same
Really? Same
way.
thing?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay,
it's
I didn't
either
know
hot
that.
or it's cold.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah, like we don't have hardly any fall. We'll probably have like maybe 2 weeks of fall,
Yeah, we're
and
the
then we'll
same
have
way,
winter. You
man.
know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing with spring. It's just maybe 2 3 weeks, and boom, it's gone. It's summertime.
It's
Yeah.
crazy weather, man. Especially over
Yeah.
like the past 10 years, you can just tell the difference in between the. You can't. I mean, here now you barely can tell the difference in between the seasons anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's crazy, brother. I don't know. And you know what? It seems like every year the weather gets crazier, doesn't it? I mean, have you
Yes,
noticed
it
that,
does.
Jimmy?
Yeah,
It's like it used to be like yeah, rain and but now it's like the summers are extremely hot and the winter's extremely cold. Like
yes.
black ice, stuff like that. It's like man, that's crazy how the weather changes so much, man.
I'm
Throughout the
kind of
years.
dreading it this year. Our almanac
Yeah,
on this side of the East Coast is predicting us to have like one of the worst winters in 10 years. So
yeah, yeah. I believe it. I believe it, man. But
I dread it.
yeah, I know. I hate it, man. I hate it with every fiber of my being. Because it's and that's the way. That's the thing. Texas. What it is Texas is like it's got tons of work. Yeah, uh, you know, rent are affordable. Cars are affordable. Yeah, compared to like New York and California and stuff like that. You know, but the weather, man. You gotta be really tough to have the endurance to put up with that weather, man. You know. It's like California's beautiful weather. My bro Hana just stepped in. What's up, bro Hana? He knows. He can tell you. I lived in California, man. I know the difference, bro. California's beautiful weather all around, bro. It could be snowing, and you still got beautiful sun in like where you're not
I wish we could,
freezing.
yeah,
You
I
know what I
wish we
mean?
could have like 70-degree weather year
Yeah,
round.
yeah,
And
yeah,
everybody thinks, oh, it's cold in Kentucky. Yeah, in the wintertime, it's cold, but in the summer, we're kicking 100 degrees all throughout summer. It's
man.
crazy. we got
wish.
humid heat, man, and it's
Yes,
awful.
that's what it is like here in Texas as well. And that's what I'm saying. California is beautiful because it's you go to the beach and yeah, you're hot, but there's a lot of wind blowing, bro. You got
Yeah.
that breeze. You go into the cold ass water. You gotta have a bodysuit to go in that cold ass water in California, bro. I used
I
to
heard
go.
that.
I used to go in there without a bodysuit. That's how tough I was. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't care. My body would get numb, but I was in there bodyboarding, surfing. That's probably something Shane doesn't know yet. What's up, Shane? I see you there, brother. Thank you for popping in, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. My good brother Shane is here from West Coast Dogman Project. Yeah, he
Awesome.
knows. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. And the sun. Yeah, you're sweating, but you're getting that breeze, bro. And you're just barely sweating. It's like you feel the heat, but you're not sweating that much. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yeah.
sweating, but not crazy. Well, here in Texas, it's like a sauna, bro. It's like
It is. It's like
that
it here
heat,
too.
humid
Yes.
heat, and it just lingers, on close to the ground, and you're walking, and you just drenched in sweat, dude. Like you're
It's
you're
like
hardly
you can
doing anything,
walk
and
out
yeah,
through the neighborhood, dude, and you can just
yeah.
see the heat rising off the the blacktop. It's crazy in waves, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's awful weather here too. I feel you.
Yeah, man. They say you can throw like an egg on the concrete on the asphalt, and it
Yeah,
will,
same way here too, man.
yeah,
It's crazy.
it's crazy. I
I
know
hate
traffic.
summertimes here anymore, man.
I know it, man. I know it. But yeah, Shane's in the house, everybody. What's up, Shane? That's my Bahana, my Bahana from Hawaii. He's a half islander from Hawaii. He's got family over there.
What's up, Shane, man? What's up, bro?
See that he says 100%. Only three things that suck about California's politics. Yeah, homeless. Yes. Now it's really bad, man. I seen that, and it kind of broke my heart when I seen that videos on YouTube. It's called Skid Row in California and LA and
Yeah, I
stuff.
seen that. I seen
Oh
that, man.
man, dude, it's bad, bro. It wasn't
Home,
that bad.
and
Last time I was there, it wasn't that bad, and the cost of
everybody
living, yeah.
thinks that like homelessness is just like in the big cities. No, man, we got
No,
homeless here where I live at in the small
yeah,
towns. It's
yeah,
everywhere,
yeah, yeah. It's
and
everywhere.
these people need help, man. They don't need somebody just to give them $1 every once in a while. They need help
Right,
off the streets and stay off the streets.
right, exactly. And and it's just getting worse and worse, man. I remember when I left California. The last time I was in California was like in '95, bro. Then I came to Houston. And I just stayed here in Houston. You know what I mean, in Texas. And I haven't been back ever since, man. I wish I could. I actually want to retire and go back to California and just, buy a house or whatever, you know, mobile home or whatever, and just chill there and just live out the rest of my days in Cali, man. Because it's so beautiful over there, bro. There's so many things to do. The weather, the people. The people are. Oh, well, first of all, the people are not as racist as Texas, dude. Texas is like number one. Well, not number one, but like Alabama. There's a
A lot
couple
of
of
people
places,
think
but
Kentucky's racist, but we're not. We just a bunch
yeah,
of hillbillies. We love everybody.
yeah, yeah.
And when people from other cities, man,
Everybody I know from Kentucky's fucking
I went.
awesome, dude. Like I've
My
never met
aunt
anybody.
married a. Let's see, he wasn't Honduras, but he was from around the islands, right around in Jamaica somewhere. And he was a black man. Loved him, man. Called him Uncle Larry. Loved that man. And they lived in New York. They talked me into coming up and spending 2 weeks with them. So I did. I did not like it. Did not like it up there.
Yeah.
And
Where was this? What state was this?
this it was up in New York.
Oh, New York.
In the
Okay.
city, yeah. A country
Yeah.
boy like me going to the city, first time I'd ever been out
Yeah.
of state, 18-year-old. But
Yeah.
I loved it up there. It was awesome. His mom was awesome. She had this
Yeah.
uh restaurant and stuff that she owned, man, made some of the best food. I loved it up there. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Man, how's it back where you live at?" I heard everybody like has lynches out in the front yard on the weekends for fun. Oh man, it's not like, oh, we love everybody. It's the stereotypical moniker that has been placed on Kentucky, and now I can't say much below Tennessee,
Yeah.
But Kentucky, Kentucky and Tennessee is not like that at all.
Yeah, I think Kentucky and Tennessee are like super, super duper country boys. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
All I can imagine is like big pastures and horses everywhere, and cows and stuff like that. So that would actually be perfect for Shane, man. That's what he's saying. Like he said, Kentucky's one is my one place I want to live. Our good
Like,
brother
as long as you don't
Paul
come
is
to
from there. Yeah,
southeastern Kentucky where it ain't nothing but mountains,
yeah.
then you go out west, it's all flatland.
Hey, do
But
you know who Paul Chafin is? He's from Kentucky as well.
oh, shit, that name sounds familiar. Really
He's a dog man, big time dog man researcher, man. One of the best, uh, to us at least. He's one of the best because he gets like footprints and howls and recordings and pictures and all kinds of stuff, crazy shit out there in the Daniel Boone National Forest out there in Kentucky, southern Kentucky. I think it's southeastern Kentucky. I think it is. But yeah,
Haha, yeah, Shane. Kentucky's a good place to live at, man. You'd love it here.
yeah, I bet.
Love it here.
Yeah, he would.
We're
I
all
know
laid
he would.
back, man. That's just the way it is. Front porch sitting.
Yeah.
If you like drinking, drink your beer, man. Chill
Yeah.
out. I mean, that's just the way it is. Life here is so slowed down, big cities and stuff, man. That it's crazy. It's different. I mean, difference between night and day here.
Yeah, man. Hey, we got a new member or new member in the chat, guys. Bigfoot Littlefoot. How you doing, Bigfoot Littlefoot? Nice to meet you, brother. Thank you for being here. Um,
What's
I'm,
up,
I'm,
man?
I'm pretty sure because I posted it in today in a big group that me and Todd Tate have. Well, it's actually more his. I just I help him run it, right, as an
Yeah.
administrator, and and I think a lot of people said that they might come tonight, so that's why I said all right, that's awesome. It's from the group on Facebook called Dogman Encrypted Eyewitness Support Information and Discussion. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Jimmy, but yeah, I posted it on there, and that group has been growing like crazy, brother. I
Awesome.
Yeah, it's at like I think it's like at 8,000 now. It's crazy, dude. Crazy, crazy.
I've
Yeah,
got one page.
yeah,
It's called
almost.
Southeast Kentucky.
Yeah,
Southeast Kentucky Unknown Paranormal.
on Facebook.
Yeah, and it's got like 3,000.
Awesome.
It's been doing pretty good over the past year. I shot up almost 2,000 followers,
That's awesome,
and
dude. Shoot,
I
one.
myself, I hardly ever make a post on there. I like for everybody else to share like their podcast and groups and stuff like that on there.
Right. I'm at 2.9 right now, so I'm getting there close to 3,000 on Facebook with my Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom with Carlito and Tom on Facebook. I'm almost getting there, like 3,000. But yeah, my buddy Todd's group, which is it's more like the name says it all, Dogman Encrypted Eyewitness Support, information, and discussion, right? So it's basically people that have had like encounters and stuff, or that are really interested in it. And dude, man, when I helped him start that like promote his I mean, I don't mean to pat my own back or nothing like that. No, I'm just saying it because it is what it is. I'm not making anything up. When I had like maybe 2.5 thousand on my group, and he had probably two. Man, I'm not gonna lie, about maybe if 150, 200 people, it was a lot. And I started helping him, get it out there and everything, and interviewed him and kind of put his group out there and whatever. And then a lot of other people started sharing it too, not just me. Now I'm not taking full credit for it. A lot more people started sharing it, and it went up to like 4,000, and then like 5,000. Now it's at 7.8 thousand. It's like crazy, dude. Like really, really fast.
Yeah.
And this was all within a year, bro. A year. From 150 to almost 8,000 now. That's crazy. And mine's been up for 2 years, and I don't know if his is private. Oh, I think he changed it to private now, but it used to be public. Uh, I've had mine on private since the get go. So since we started, I put mine on private because I wanted mine to be just people that are interested in the cryptid and
Yeah.
paranormal. Not just any Tom, Dick, and Harry in there. You know what I mean? That they don't know what's going on or whatever, and they're just in there just to be nosy or browse whatever. But yeah, anyway, Bigfoot, Littlefoot, thank you for coming in tonight. I think he's from that group because I haven't seen him here before. But welcome, brother. Welcome to Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom. Make sure you subscribe, brother, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss future shows. Oh, there it is. Look, he says, I work at 7,000 acre off road park with 150 miles of old log road trails. We have roughly 4 Bigfoot and plenty of large and small orbs. Awesome.
Yes,
These
they
guys are
will.
traveling the pipeline clearings. Nice. Awesome, Bigfoot. Awesome, man. That's awesome, bro, for you to share that with us.
We've got, like,
Uh,
one of the biggest off-road parks here in town where I live at too, but
yeah,
and it's huge,
yeah.
thousands of
And
acres, man, and, there's,
I bet.
um Ed Brown had a sighting, his first sighting when he was here years ago. He's, uh he's been on the, convention tours and stuff around the United States.
Right.
He helped me get some folks here to do my first con that I did back in 2018, and he had his first sighting here, and it's something he said he'll never forget.
Wow. And he's now your friend. I take it.
Yeah.
Is someone you interviewed yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been, I've had probably 3 different channels over
Oh,
the years for s I'm gonna say since about 2012, and, I've interviewed,
okay.
let's see, I had a list of folks that I wanted to interview, kinda like my little own bucket list,
Right. Right.
and I got to interview, Jody Cook. I know you know Jody.
Oh yeah, Jody. Yeah, he's my boss over at North American Dogman Project. Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed Jody one year, and it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and he was a cool dude, I liked him a lot.
Oh yeah, he's an
Linda
awesome guy.
Godfrey, I got to interview her. I
Nice.
loved
Okay.
Linda, she was a very sweet lady,
Yes,
and
sir.
what made me so upset is that she told me that she had been on a show,
Hmm.
the week before, and the guest or the host of the show was so rude to her, like, just kinda, like, brushed her, the topic that they were doing on this radio show or whatever it was.
Hmm.
She it made her upset, and I told her, I was like, "Well, you're on a different kind of show. I'm a country boy. I was raised to treat people with respect,
Right.
especially women." I said, "Ma'am, you are fine here."
Right.
And I kept in
I
touch with her,
I can't
over the
imagine.
past year or so. I ain't got to talk to her, and then when I found out, man, she passed away, it broke my heart.
Yeah, I know, man. That was last year, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't imagine anybody being rude to Linda Godfrey, man. She was such a sweet lady, man.
she is,
For real.
man. She was awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I was like, that's crazy. I can't even believe it. We got more people coming in. Jimmy, finally, I guess they caught on that I went live, because sometimes it doesn't, they're subscribed or whatever. And if you don't go live, it doesn't notify them until you go live.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So I'm thinking now they're getting that notification that we're live. But well, now we have a couple people in here. Jimmy, I would like you to do a brief bio on yourself, brother, and kind of tell us how it all started for you. Tell us where you're from, how old you are, married, not married, kids, no kids. Uh, and then when you after your bio, let everybody know where they can find you because you do have your YouTube channel as well, and you also interview people, and you
Yeah.
also tell stories. You narrate stories, correct?
Yeah, I'm getting ready.
Awesome.
It's been probably 6 years before I got into story narration, but I'm
Hmm.
getting ready to slowly get back into the kick of this stuff. So hopefully we'll have
Right.
stuff coming down the pipe for everybody.
Okay.
Well, folks, my name is Jimmy Blanton. I am from Harlan, Kentucky. I am 45-year old. I am married to my second wife. My first wife passed away, and I'll let you guys know here just in a few more minutes how she played into all this. I have two step kids, Joey and Ida. Uh, Ida is 16. Joey is getting ready to be 20. Going to be a grandfather soon in December. So, looking forward to that. But I am a former, and the reason why I say former paranormal and cryptid researcher. I started out in the paranormal back in 2004, got into field research in 2012, uh, and got into Bigfooting. A good friend of mine, Thomas Markham, who runs the CryptoCrew.com, who lives right down the road from me and uh, at the end of the county in Harlem, where I live at, got me into cryptids. And I started going out with him and just doing some investigations and stuff like that, and just got swallowed right up into cryptozoology. And here I am today. Um, I'll go ahead and we'll get to talking about what happened now.
Yeah,
Where
awesome. Well, before you do that, can you plug in your where they people can find you, Jimmy? Because I know you're kind of new to the scene. Well, at least on our end, you know what I mean? Because I just discovered you not too long ago.
Oh
Shane
yeah,
is Shane is asking for your YouTube channel so he
oh
can
yeah, you
subscribe
guys
and
can
show some.
find me at
Yeah.
Appalachian Tales of Terror. It's not it. It's a good name. You know it. I had to think about that for a little bit just to make sure I had a perfect name. But it's Appalachian Tales of Terror. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook at the same name. Um, as of right now, that's the only type of social media I mess with. Or you can just find me. You can't miss this handsome face on Facebook. Blanton. You can find me on there. Send me a friend's request, especially if you're into the cryptids and the paranormal, and we'll talk.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, like I was telling you, man, you got the perfect voice for narration, brother. I heard a couple of your stories that you narrated on your channel. I'm like, man, this has got potential with his voice, man, and the way the
Thanks,
way
man. I
you,
appreciate it.
yeah, the way you do your narrations, man, it's pretty good, it's really good, actually. Yeah, yeah, no problem, man. So, okay, Jimmy, I guess let's go ahead and move on, so we don't, take forever to get to the point. I guess we'll go ahead and move on and start your encounters, man. Can you tell us? I mean, I know. I remember you said you had multiple uh, Bigfoot encounters, and also some. I remember you mentioning some paranormal encounters as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, Now, that my the name of my channel. That's exactly what it is, Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom. But if we have time, I'd like you to share some of the paranormal encounters as well, both. If that's cool with you.
Oh yeah, that's fine. We should because
Okay.
the we'll start out with what made me actually quit doing cryptid
Yeah. Start
research.
start start with the cryptids if you want to. That'd be the best.
My wife had passed away. My first wife, Melissa, had passed away September the 30th of 2020 or 2019. I'm sorry. Uh, January of 2020, I'd been having such a hard time and stuff and was grieving pretty bad. So I decided, I needed to get into the mountains for a little bit of therapy. So I load up and I go up onto a parcel of land that belongs to family members, um, which is a straight shot up the hill, 100, yards. Took me maybe 5, 6 minutes to get up to the top, of course. I'm long-winded, so it took me a little bit to get up there, but when I do get up to the top, I set my backpack down, and there's a little hill that I like to set on, and I can look down through a little gullyway to a creek, and then the creek hits and goes up the other side of the mountain. So I'm just taking off my backpack and my walking stick that I carry around with me everywhere. I set my backpack down and put my walking stick. And as I'm fumbling around to find out where my keys and stuff are at, I notice over the hill, about 30 yards away from me, there's something brown, like a cinnamon color, a reddish brown. And I scratch my head and I'm like thinking to myself, what is that? When all of a sudden I kicked my walking stick that I'd laid down on top of my backpack, and when it hit the ground, this little brown cinnamon color thing stood up on me. And it was about I estimated about 7, in between 7, right under 7'10" to about 8'3" to 8'5". This thing was huge, broad-shouldered. Like I said, what threw me off when cinnamon colored, meaning it was this reddish brown colored fur that we see rarely here in our black bear in Kentucky. What they refer to as a cinnamon bear, hence the word cinnamon colored. After this thing stands up and I get just a fast look at it, I noticed the shoulders across the top of the shoulders were real hairy, and it went down kind of like into a V pattern to the trapezius of the back. And then down around the waist was hair, down the buttock region, the back of the leg, until it got down to the calf, which was real thin, and I could see the skin color real good. It was like a white, I mean, really white looking skin, but had been, a dirty gray, like it had, it could tell that this was a wild animal that had been out in the woods, dirty, nasty, sweaty. Of course, common sense tells me that this thing is just dirty and nasty. But I noticed that I could see some veins on the sides of the calves on each calf, almost in the same spot. The hair came around to the top of the calf muscle and went down a quarter of the way off the top of the calf muscle. But what really blew my mind, dude, when I seen this thing had some of the biggest calves I've ever seen. It would have put like a bodybuilder to shame. Um, when I snapped back to reality, I realized that this thing had took off running and it ran away from me now. But before it took off running, it kind of turned its upper body to the right like this. And all I could see was the top of the ear. But I noticed on the ear it had, have you ever seen the Buddha statues? Like a Buddha statue? Well, that's kind of what the ears were. They were a real big fat lobe. They were long.
Oh yeah, like hanging, kind of like real
Yeah.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, big fat earlobes.
Hmm.
And but what was weird that I got to thinking after all this happened, and then once it turned, I don't know if it was listening for me to do something, to pick up something, or to reach for something, because I didn't have nothing on me at all. No boomstick, no nothing. Just my walking staff, a big oak, but it was a solid oak. If I had to, I'd have clubbed that thing, and I know that would have killed me, but I would have put up a fight with it for sure. Because us country boys, we'll put up a fight. We go down swinging. But this thing just all of a sudden, after it turns this way, it just turns back and just took off running. It ran straight down away from me, down the gully, and it goes around the bend a little way that you can barely see where the creek starts. And it shot off across the creek and up the other side of the mountain, and it was gone within. This was probably maybe a 6 to 7 second thing that happened. Seeing this thing from the time it stood up till it turned around like this a little bit to where it could put its ear to me, and it was gone. Um, it was crazy. I flipped out. Now I'm gonna backtrace just a little bit and inform you guys. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to the cryptid game, even though I've been out multiple times on multiple boots on the ground excursions and things like that. Well, not just friends, but other Bigfooters. But I was always told that one day I was going to run into this thing. If I kept searching for it, eventually it's going to pop up. And it did that day when I just went out for a hike to go to my quiet place and just get some craziness off my mind at the stuff that was going on at the time. And it was fast. but I had so many questions from that day. I just it's just crazy. But after I get back down the mountain, I get in my van. We we had a minivan at the time, and I get in the van, get home, and I pull up, and I'm hauling butt, and I pull up right in front of we live in a mobile home. Pull up right in the driveway. I run up the steps as fast as my fat butt will carry me, and I come in the door. And the first thing I do is I walk over to the counter at the sink, and I just put my head down on my arms and was catching my breath. And my wife asked me, she said, "Are you all right? What's wrong?" And I looked at her and she said, "You're white as a ghost." And then I stood up and I was telling her, and as I was telling her what happened, I, I'm, for some reason, I'm going through my pockets and I realized my phone was in my pocket and I didn't catch none of that. It scared me so bad. The feeling that I had that day, everyone keeps telling me, man, there's nothing wrong with Bigfoot. Bigfoot's not gonna bother you. But if you've seen how big this thing was that I seen, the intimidation that I felt coming off of, because I felt like I'm not supposed to be there. Something in my mind is telling me, some kind of voice is telling me aggressively, you're not supposed to be here. So I left as fast as I could. I didn't stop and shrug, want to shake hands with him. And this is one of the reasons why I don't tell this sighting all the time, because there's so many folks out there that want to shoot down. They want to throw their narrative of the experience that they've had maybe with Bigfoot. I live in a place where from Kentucky on down the south, a lot more Bigfoot are aggressive. Just like in the Pacific Northwest, they're big time aggressive up there. And I also have another theory that goes along with this. I believe 90%, well, maybe not 90, 80, 80% of cryptid sightings that has anything to do with Bigfoot is juveniles. And the reason being, older Bigfoot know to stay away from humans. They know what we do. They're out, they see us hunting deer and other game. They know we carry guns and stuff. They know to stay away from people just for that fact. But the juveniles are young. They don't know no better. They're the ones that get usually, like me in my instance. I jumped up on this thing that day. Was it was it somebody in a suit? I don't know. I didn't get to see the face. I cannot tell you that. But from the size and the build of this thing, I don't know too many people in my area that are close to 8 foot tall, have calf muscles like a bodybuilder. And just the build, the speed of this thing running away from me, there's no way it could have been anyone. If it was actually someone in the area here where I live at, I would like to meet that person and shake their hands, because they'd make a great running back in the NFL. They'd be making some buku bucks. But I've had so many questions ever since I've had sighting. Maybe if I had, instead of putting my phone in my pocket at the van, I should have got out my camera and brought it with me. I've got a mount on top of my walking stick. I could have just like leaned it up against a tree. Uh, Maybe I should have tried talking to it. But either way it goes, it's done and over with. And everyone that I tried to talk to about it in the past, uh, whether I say something on someone's page or something, it's always, well, Bigfoot's not that aggressive. You're still alive. Yada, yada, yada. My experience is my experience. You may have an experience different from me. You might have a Bigfoot in your area that is nice, that will let you get close to them in an area, let you get close to a family troop. But here in this area of Kentucky, these things will get aggressive. They will growl, they will throw rocks, anything that they can do to intimidate you to get you away. And I believe that day that that was just an intimidation tactic of it not looking me in the eye, turning its torso my way and it eared to me to listen to see if I was going to do something. It was an intimidation tactic. I lived in these mountains growing up over the years. I know our wildlife. I know our black bears. I know the cinnamon colored ones, as we call them. There's no bear over 6 foot tall, especially black bear in this area, that size. No way. I don't care what anyone says. It was not human. Was it possible? Yes, it was. Like I said, I didn't get to see this thing, but that is the sighting I had that day. Um, like I tell everyone, you can take it with a grain of salt. Um, to me, still to this day, do I believe it was a Bigfoot? I'm 50-50, to be honest. And me even seeing this thing with my own eyes because of the fact that I didn't get to see its face. If I'd got to see the face, that would have been the kicker. That would have been 100% no non denying it that it was a Bigfoot. But it was a crazy experience. And I won't lie, for a good 2-3 months, and still to this day, every once in a while, I have some crazy dreams about that. And I'm not the type of person, to run away scared from anything. But I got off the mountaintop over there real quick that day, shaking and everything. That's the reason why my wife said I was white as a sheet, and I just felt like my blood had went from my head to my toes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just a whole crazy experience for me. And like I said, I've been in haunted buildings before, man, and go in places where other folks won't go in this county. But that that really did it. Shook me up, and still to this day, I've only been up there one time since, and that was with a friend of mine, and we both were packing. And I won't go up there in that area.
Yeah, no. That's the one thing I say, Jimmy, to everyone, like almost every show, I like to, I can't stress it enough, to the people out there that don't know about these things and they feel like they want to go out there and look for them. Just never go alone, man, because you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah,
Because
don't go alone,
there's
and
no
always
witnesses.
take protection.
Yes, and take protection. Yeah, because there's no witnesses. You can't protect yourself against these things because they're bigger. They're stronger.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
overtake you easy. I mean, one just
easy.
one of them will overtake you. Imagine a pack or what do they call them? Shit.
Family troops,
Yeah, yeah. Like a group.
tribes, man, just like a whole
Yeah.
family group of them. Yeah, oh yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
A
like you
group
said,
of
just one. Could you imagine like
yeah,
6?
5 or 6. Yeah, no, man, it wouldn't be an easy thing to overcome. And well, I kind of wanted to backtrack a little bit here. Jimmy, uh, Bigfoot Littlefoot was asking, so roughly about 40 miles per hour. Is that what you think around how fast it was going? Would you say it was around
Downhill,
that?
yeah. Downhill, at least
Hmm.
35. I mean, this thing was booking it, and it was running so fast that it wasn't making any footprints at all. Because we live in an area where we have a lot of pine forest, and then on that side of the mountain is nothing but pine forest. I even went down to where this thing had stood up. I noticed that I was wondering why it was crouched down there when I first put my backpack down, and that's the last time that I was up there years ago.
Hmm.
There was a big flat piece of slate. Don't it would have had to come from one of the area mines around, in this mountain range here. But it looked like it was coal colored slate, and it was laying flat. And I noticed that there was nut shells laying around everywhere in a big sand rock. This thing was taking this rock dude and busting those nuts up and eating those nuts. I disturbed it that day it was eaten, and I don't think he wanted to share. So I'm pretty 100% sure that that's what it was doing there that day. Um, that I disturbed it. I
Right.
up on him basically.
Right. Hey, you know what? Another thing I wanted to, kind of touch right now that, and it coincides with what you just said, not just a minute ago, about them being like in your part of the country, them being more aggressive than the West. That is completely true, and I heard that today for the first time. I hadn't heard that before. I kind of figured that, like they're kind of nicer out west. You know what I mean? Kind of more, you know, nicer
Yeah.
beings or whatever, and they're like kind of more aggressive towards Kentucky and the Appalachian Trail and all that, right? So. But I never had heard it, confirmed like that. So today, I was watching I was watching an interview of Jody Cook, which is my boss, because he's from North American Dogman Project. He's like the main guy over everything, right?
Yeah.
And and I'm a director for Region 4, which is Texas, Oklahoma, uh, Louisiana, and I think New Mexico. It's like 4 or 5 states anyway, down south, right? Uh, and that's what I'm because I live in Texas, so that's why I'm Region 4 director, and we have a group where we all talk basically every day with Jody, like me, Shane, and a couple other people. But anyway, somebody posted his on that group. Somebody posted that. Well, I don't know if I think it might have been Jody himself that posted that. Well, they just interviewed him 2 days ago. This was 2 days ago on the it's called Untold Radio Network. That's the channel. If you guys want to look it up, it's in the episode is called Jody Cook Dash North American Dogland Project, Wide Open Research, number 52. I guess that's episode 52. If you guys want to check that out, listening in Untold Radio Network. And man, that's what he just mentioned that today, because I always love listening to what Jody says. Right, he knows so much, dude. It's always good to listen to him. And well, it's a good listen, basically, right? It's a good listen, and I recommend it. And he said that he mentioned that what you just said. He said it seems that the Bigfoot and the Dogman or whatever, like the cryptids, more to the west, or more, you know, nicer, more, less aggressive. Not nicer, but not necessarily nicer, but less aggressive. So they're more aggressive over here in Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Wisconsin. You know what I'm saying? All those parts. They're Appalachian. Basically, they're more. What's the word I used? They're more aggressive than out west. Basically, I don't know if you heard. Untold Radio is ran by Doug Hodgechek. Oh, okay. So it must have been uh, Doug Hodgechek's channel, but it was two other guys. I can't remember their names right now. I'm sorry, guys, but it was two guys that were there. I don't know if Shane might know. Can't remember. I just watched it because of Jody, but they were good hosts too as well. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but anyway, so they had that, and he said that they were less aggressive out west. How does he know that? I don't know. I'm guessing because all the research that they've done, throughout
Well, I've got a
30 plus
theory to
years.
that also. We as humans our temperament is a lot due by weather, barometric pressure and things like that. And I can tell here when the barometric pressure starts dropping, I get bad sinus headaches. Oh, allergies go crazy. You got to think too. On the East Coast, basically it's like a rainforest type weather. It's very humid, hot in the summertime, and possibly that's one of the reasons why, because of the weather. Out west, it's dry and heat a lot in areas, especially toward the closer you get to California. I had a friend of mine one time tell me, "Man, we never get rain here," and I think he's lived around San Diego, and he said that. they have one of the driest climates, but it's heat hot but dry. And he said, "Man, you'd love it here." He's because I have asthma real bad, and I do better in dry heat than I do in humidity. I can't breathe when it's humid outside in the summertime. It's just like to me, it's like walking through a furnace and just trying to breathe in. It's crazy. It's hard.
Yeah, I bet it was like
But you know,
Bigfoot.
I believe it does have a lot to do with the weather and stuff on this part of the U.S.
Oh yeah,
The reason
absolutely.
why
I
they're
think
so
yeah,
aggressive.
aggressive.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah, you got to think,
yes,
man. That, you know, all that
exactly.
air and stuff packing
Yep.
it around the humid vent
And
would
that's
make anybody
yes,
hateful.
yeah. And what you just mentioned at the beginning of the show, your weather is similar to Texas. It's very much similar to
Yeah,
Texas. And I've noticed because I've lived in California and I lived in Texas. I haven't lived in anywhere else but those two states. And I noticed that the people in Texas are a lot more aggressive than the people in California. And I think the weather has something to do with that because it's
it
so
does, man.
extreme. The heat is so extreme; it gets you like aggravated. You know, like
Yeah,
nose
you
and
just
like in a bad
all
mood.
hot,
Just
sticky, sweaty,
yeah,
nasty,
yeah.
man. Just
Absolutely. And in
cranky,
California,
dude.
that's why people are a lot more laid back and hey, what's up, bro? You know, and they're just cool because they don't have
Yeah,
that heat, bearing down on them. You know what I'm saying? Just having them in a kind of fucked up little attitude or uh, uh, or like a just aggravated you know way of thinking or
it
whatever,
just
right? Yeah,
weather
just like
just
everything
messes
bothers you.
with. Yeah, it
Yeah,
messes not with just human. It messes with animals also in the same
yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
And, you know, maybe that's a big possibility, the reason why they're so aggressive on this side of the United States, and it has to do with the weather.
Right, right. Hey, I just wanted to introduce you to my one of my best buddies, Al Santoriga. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's like a cryptid guru. Him and his buddy, brother in arms, Brian Bowden. They're like a duo, right? And they got 30+ years experience on everything, dude. I'm talking about haunted, you know, paranormal, cryptids, everything, dude.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Hey, Al, what's
they're
up,
like
brother?
our go to. They're kind of like our no, they are actually our mentors. Him and Brian, since 2 years ago, three that we met him, and I put him in my group with Tom Cardo, Shane, uh, Brian,
Awesome.
Al, amongst a couple other people that they're really savvy on the cryptid and paranormal. And we actually called him we call him the Squatch Father. Yeah, the Squatch Father.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I wanted to
That's
introduce
cool.
him to you, man. Yeah. So he said you interrupted his lunch. That's what
Yeah, I
this
was
is what
reading that.
happened.
Yeah, I did, Al. I interrupted his lunch for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean the nutshells were there, that rock, that and that flat piece of slate. That's what he would have had to been doing there at the time. I mean, the evidence was right there. And in that area, also, I tried to look around to see if I could get some cast footprints on where the pine needles were so thick and the other leaves and stuff. Man, it was. I tried. It just didn't look right. You couldn't make out no toes, no heel, no nothing. And I ended up chucking it away. So I was disappointed on that part too.
You know what? I remember. I'm just laughing right now because I remember when I was younger and I used to live in California. I wasn't as grouchy or edgy. I don't know what you want to call it, right?
Yeah,
From living in Texas so many years now, man, that actually rubbed on me, dude. And it's like
yeah. It
I'm always
will, man.
like like oh man, I can't stand this. Oh man, this shit, man. It's like just everything just gets you like
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like that. And it's pretty much the weather, basically, man.
it is, man. I mean, weather, you know, it's in.
And the rest of the people do acting the same, so that makes it that much worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And in California, no, man, everybody's real cool and chill and mellow, man. It's awesome in California. And
And, you know, and I mean, it just makes sense that You know, I mean, if somebody else was to find out anything different, I hope they would share it with everyone else so we would be able to,
Yeah,
get
and
the
you know what? Actually, Jimmy, I haven't. I have not. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I have not heard about what we're talking about, the weather being part of why they're so aggressive like we are, and we're giving the examples of humans too, right? Because
yeah,
like I said, I lived in California and I lived in Texas, so I know the difference. And yes, people are more aggressive in Texas than Cali, like I just said. And I have not heard that anywhere else before. So I'm not saying nobody's ever said it. No, they probably have, but I haven't heard that. See what I'm saying?
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and that's why I brought that up. Like, I haven't touched on that. In 2 years, I have not touched on that top on that fact that Texas in over here in the Appalachia is a lot
Mhm.
more. The weather's a lot more hotter, extreme.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And that has
a
something to do
lot
with
a
your
lot more
attitude.
humid.
Yeah, and
I mean, you and in the summertime, you can just look at the mountaintops here, man, and you can just see the humidity and the haziness. And it's like that in the Great Smoky Mountains too. Around
right.
Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. You go if you ever been there before, man. You can just see the haze, and that's one of the reasons why it's called the Great Smoky Mountains, also. So, along with the old coal mines and things that had burnt down years ago, and the hazy mountains, it's a beautiful sight to behold, especially on a sunny day when you can just look up at the mountaintops and see that haze hanging around, kind of like some clouds, man. It's beautiful, beautiful sights here, man. I mean, I'm telling you. Oh yeah, Al. Yeah, climate and the wilderness both are big factors. Um, but that's one clicker that came to me years ago when I heard people start talking about how, uh, you know, different parts of the U.S. have aggressive Bigfoot and some don't. And I looked into that and looked into that more to where I just thought, man, maybe it's just because of the weather. It has effect on us just like the moon cycles do. The how they talk about the crazies come out on the full moon. Well, it's an actual mental illness that I'm not sure for the technical term of it. It's some crazy name that has to do with the Luna or lunar having to do with the moon, but it's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah. Luna,
how
Luna's Latin for
yeah,
moon. Yeah, Luna.
yeah, how it just like weather and it just plays a big part in our temper, not just as humans but animals also. Oh, dude, you would love it here, Shane. You would love it. Smoky Mountains are awesome. Uh, Daniel Boone National Forest, beautiful, man. Great, great places, hiking trails. And sometimes you can go there and you can hike down through there, and if you're wearing any type of t-shirt like I usually do that has anything to do with like Bigfoot or paranormal, you're going to get at least one person stop you and say that they make multiple trips there so many times a year and they have seen and heard crazy things.
Yeah, I bet.
It's crazy. Another place too in Kentucky is Mammoth Cave. There's been all types of Bigfoot activity, dogman, paranormal activity, all in that whole area where the cave is at. I've heard some crazy stories. I know one of the well, I don't think he works there anymore. He I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Wilder, and he used to be a tour guide into the cave. And he would talk about how many reports they would get every year of a certain ghost that was dressed in Civil War regalia that would be seen by customers coming in to do the tours in a certain area of the cave. And he's been seen multiple times by different folks over the years. There's the
You
to
you
me,
talking about the Daniel Boone National Forest?
Mammoth Cave.
Oh, Mammoth Cave.
Yes, in Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. I mean, check that out. Do some research on that and crazy stories, man. Dog man, different types of cryptids.
Wow.
It's some interesting reads there, man.
Cool, man. Are those your books?
No, no,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have no books
Oh, okay, okay.
as of right now. You
Oh,
know,
okay,
maybe
okay.
in the future I might
Yeah.
do. I've thought about doing something in the area. I know Bart Nunley. He
What?
does. He does some. He's got some good books out, and
Okay. So,
uh,
so the one you were talking about the what is it? The cave,
it's
uh,
called Mammoth Cave
Mammoth Cave. Where can
in
we
Mammoth
find
Cave,
that?
Kentucky.
You said
Just look up
that's
Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, and
okay. Just
and
Google it.
oh yeah, and take you right to a
Oh, okay.
page, man.
Oh, cool.
There's
Okay.
quite a bit. There's some. I think there might be some historical societies linked to it also.
Uh,
You'll get quite a bit of information and read some cool spooky stories about the area and stuff.
okay.
Um,
Hey, hold on just one second. Al has to go. Thanks for coming tonight, Al. Appreciate you, Goomba. Much love, man. Thank you for coming out, brother.
See you,
And
brother.
uh, and Al said, by the way, Jimmy, look him up on Facebook, man. That way you can talk to him, and maybe if you want to,
Will
you can
do.
interview him, man. You know,
Will do.
on your show, bro. He's an
Awesome.
awesome guest. Yeah. He's like I said, man. He knows a lot, like 30, 50 years plus. Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
yeah. So yeah, contact him, man. He's a good guy. Thank you, Goomball. Good night, man. Thanks for coming in, brother. But yeah, so sorry about that. Continue. I just had to say that because
I.
he's leaving.
That's
Thank you,
fine,
Goomba.
man. That's
hmm
fine.
Okay. So yeah. So going back to your Bigfoot encounter, right? Uh, I remember you pretty much explained everything, but I was letting you talk and pretty much say everything you had to say without interrupting you. But now I have to go back and ask you a couple of questions. Of
Sure.
course, because that's what I do here on my
Yeah,
channel, right?
sure.
So you said the color was like a cinnamon colors, right?
Yeah, like a
Like
like the
like a cinnamon
like a
bear,
like the brownish reddish mix. You know
right?
how your
Brownish red,
typical
cinnamon.
Bigfoot color, that
Mm-hmm.
reddish brown, that deep
Right,
reddish brown.
right, right. Okay, and you said that also that you could see through the hair. You could see the color of the skin too,
Oh
and
yeah,
where
it
and
was
what
like
part
a
what part did it have? Did it not have that much hair?
around the abdomen
hmm
to the top, kind of like to the top of the buttock
Okay.
area,
What
and
about the
then
chest? The chest, did he have any there or no? Or not much?
on the back, not much on the sides, but across the shoulders was thick. I
Right.
remember that. That's the first. I went from the head, the classic conical shape head, no neck, went like it kind of went melded straight down as V shape onto the shoulders.
And I remember you telling me on the pre-interview that the hair was kind of longish, like on the
Yes,
shoulders, like a mane, like
yes,
a lion's mane, kind of. Can
yeah,
you expand on that for us?
real thick. I mean, it's kind of like it came from the top of the head. Uh, you know how the human hair would grow, kind of like your. Let me see, what's it called? The Tennessee top hat, the old mullet, just like that, real thick, growing from the top down the shoulders, and instead of being like your normal human hairline, it went out across the shoulder and
hmm
got thicker on the ends on the shoulder muscle here.
So basically, he had no neck because the traps were like
No,
pretty
no
much
neck
going
at all.
down and right, and the
Y Yeah,
mane, long hair.
to me, the hair was so thick, even if I
Mm.
did, even if you could make out any neck at all, to me, he didn't have no
You
neck at
couldn't,
all.
yeah, because
Kinda
you
like
couldn't see it because of the hair. Right, right.
real
Yeah.
thick,
Okay. Okay. Man, that's wow.
and
Okay.
it was matted in areas too on the shoulders.
Okay.
Like, and what I thought was possibly from, sleeping at night, because you
Right.
never know where these creatures
Yeah.
lay at.
Right.
They dirt,
Right.
mud, anywhere, so they're gonna have some nasty fur, basically, nasty hair, so
Right. Hey, my good brother William Nighthawk is in the house, guys. What's up, Willie
Mullet hair
Nighthawk?
Bigfoot.
Good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, mullet hair Bigfoot.
Tennessee top hat is a call. Yeah, Tennessee top hat Bigfoot.
Yeah. That's great. And then I remember you saying they had like a cone head, right? That's the cone head
Yeah,
type.
and
The conical head,
I've
what
done
how
so
you
many
call
interviews over the years.
it? Mm-hmm.
Everybody keeps talking about that conical head shape, and it's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what this thing had.
Yeah,
I wish I'd got to see the face though, man.
I
That's what
know.
gets me, man.
I know. I remember asking
I sat and
you.
thought it burns me up, man.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see the facial structure to see if it had the wide bridge nose, or if how if it had the big wide mouth, as some people claim to have witnessed on other Bigfoot witnesses have. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, there's so many more questions that I've got that I would like to be answered, but I know will never happen. So I can just sit and daydream about what maybe it looked like in the face, face
Yeah, you
bone
know what?
structure.
Yeah, I had the same thing with the UFO experience though. It was like right in front of me, nighttime, lights going around it. Like oh, I missed $1 million shot, bro. I ran in to get my camera. By the time I came out, it was gone. I'm like,
That's
oh.
usually the way it goes, man.
Yeah, and that's what I was going
Um,
to tell you. You mentioned something about that earlier. I wish I had done this. I wish I had. Yes, it normally happens. And Jody Cook was talking about that again. Watch that. I'm gonna send you the link to that show, bro, so you can listen to what Jody said. He said
all right,
it normally happens when you're not prepared, when you don't
exactly.
have what you need. That's when the sightings happen. And you see one walk by, and you're like, "Damn, I don't have my equipment to." And when you
Or you're
go,
like me and it's in your
yeah,
pocket and you forget, you're just like tripping out from what you're seeing and you don't think
yeah,
about that at that time, man. It's
right,
like my mind went blank. Everything that was
yeah,
going on around me. I don't
yeah.
remember hearing the birds and stuff chirping during that time. It was
And,
kind of crazy. It's like all of it just came back to me at once. And
yeah,
then by this time when it took off running and it spooked me, so I take off going back the other direction, back down the mountain.
right. Hey, I got a question from Bigfoot Littlefoot. He says, "What color were the ears?"
The ears were they were a little bit darker than the skin tone of the cat around the calf areas. They were more of a darker gray looking, like a more dirtier colored skin to me.
Oh, let
But
me
I
ask you
noticed,
something, Jimmy. Let me ask you something. When you say gray, do you think that would be kind of ashy? Because
yes, yes,
dry.
kind of like your typical white
Yeah.
skin.
You know how
Uh,
gorillas have that on their knuckles and
yeah,
their their
exactly
their
like that.
fingers, right? Because
Figured
they
it
got
was
the cattle.
the
What did they
actual
call
skin
catalyst? Whatever.
tone, the
Right.
actual skin tone of the creature, but where
Mm-hmm.
it was so dirty over years and years of
Right.
exposure to the elements,
Right.
it just looked great.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, because it was wore out. The pads wore out, or whatever. The elbows or the knees or whatever they wore out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you gotta think how many times a day these things get up and off, down to up, down, and up to down, off the ground, and sleeping and rolling around in the stuff. They're gonna be pretty dirty, pretty nasty.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And what was I going to say? I had something. I lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you something, but okay, yeah, just kind of threw me off with what color the ears were. Um, what else? What else was I going to ask you about the Bigfoot? Oh yes, okay. So you wish you would have got the face shot, right? Because all you got was
Yes.
like a quarter towards your back, because you were behind him, and he
He
was
was like,
facing
yeah,
away from
all I
you.
got was just a little
So
bit
you
of the
all you
head
got was
turn like
this,
this
like
and the ear,
from
this side
back
of the
there
face.
this way, right?
That's as far as I got. I
Yeah,
did. I was hoping I would, or it would have at least turned around and looked at me
right,
more than what it did. But I know for a fact that that's what it was doing. It was listening to see what I was going to do, whether I was going to uh, gasp or trip out and scream or whatever. It was basically, I took it as defensive maneuver, whether to take off and run.
right.
So I didn't move and I didn't make no noise. So it decided to move. And that's when it took off running.
You know what I think, Jimmy? I think most of the time, because you never really hear like an aggressive Bigfoot encounter. You know what I mean? Like a dog man. You know, say dogman's always aggressive. They scare the hell out of you,
Oh yeah.
or they chase you, or they growl at you, or show you their teeth, whatever, right? Because they're more canine, and that's what canines do, basically. You know what I'm saying? A dog, you get close to a dog, whether it's scared of you or wants to eat you, he's going to show his teeth.
Oh
If
yeah.
it's
And
scared of you, it's his defense tactic. Like,
yeah, a
he's
lot of the
scared as
times
he's
too.
scared as
All they
hell of
gotta
you,
do
but
is
he
show
still shows you
themselves.
his teeth. You know what I mean? And if
Or
it's the other way around, where he wants to eat you, then he's gonna be like, really going, trying to, show his teeth to you, to scare you off or whatever. That's kind of like a canine
I mean,
trait.
you got to think, man. That type of creature, a dog, man, all it would have to do is just show itself to you, and that would be
Oh
enough to intimidate you. And you would
yeah,
start thinking,
and especially
"Fight! What do I
if
do?"
it growls or shows its teeth,
Oh yeah.
that makes it 10 times worse. You know what I
Back
mean?
in the '80s
That'll make
here,
anybody run.
and just down the road, uh, my buddy Thomas had got a sighting of a dogman creature, and when he did the interview of the guy, he
Hmm.
asked the guy, he asked him multiple questions, and I remember one thing that stood out to me. He asked him about the ear placement. Were the ears on the side of the head or were they on top? The dude said that they were on top.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's normally, like I said, a canine trait. You know.
He said the thing was black. It was running across the cow field. The cows were not paying one notice of this thing. So I thought maybe is it possible that these cows have seen this thing multiple times over the years and just don't pay attention to it? It's kind of like the normal to them because he said that these cows, some of them ran down and some of them were staying up and they were feeding, but the dude said he pulled right up by there. He was doing, I think he said 55 when he went by, and it's a pretty good straight through there where I'm talking about.
Right.
And then it curves around a little bit and goes on down. Uh, but I mean, even if you was to slow down, you would see something going across that field there where it happened at. And but yeah, he said that the ears were like up on top of the head, and that's made me scratch my head a little bit. Well, that kind of sounds like it might be the dog man.
Yeah. Well,
He asked him, he's like, could you tell about the legs? He says, was it human like legs or
right.
was it
Hominid
yeah,
or
yeah,
digitate.
yeah, was
Yeah.
it canid type or what? And the guy said, I don't know. He says, all I know is it had its arms were long. And of course, he said he was flying by this, by that stretch of road, and he just seen it running across. He said, but I did notice that the cows were not paying no attention to this thing whatsoever. And in that same area, there's been 3 reports of Bigfoot,
Hmm.
3 different colors running across that field. So possibly dogman and Bigfoot activity in that same area. So I
Wow.
don't know.
And that's also in Kentucky,
Yeah, it's just like down the road, right?
from
Maybe
where?
just a mile away from me here.
Oh, okay. Wow. Man, see, I got a lot of activity there, bro. Hey, so Jimmy, how, did you have any more encounters besides that one, or
I've heard knocks and I've heard howls over the years, but as nothing like that I did
like
that
that
day.
one? Right,
No.
right. Okay, now what about like when you heard the knocks? Have you heard Bigfoot house? Because they got a certain,
Oh yeah, I've heard
Bigfoot
Bigfoot
house.
howls. I've seen some
You can
long. I've
identify
heard
them real
some.
quick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
long drawn out.
yeah.
There,
Because it
I've
sounds like
tried
a
to match.
man. Sound like a man, but screaming
No,
real loud. They go,
no, screaming real loud. I'm
like,
talking about major lung capacity. I've
oh
tried to match what I've heard before,
yeah,
trying to get it to reverberate off the
yeah.
outside behind my home.
Uh-huh.
I live right by the Cumberland River that goes through Harlan County, goes right by
Wow.
my house here.
You would need a
And
loudspeaker for that.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've tried. That's the only thing I did. I had a big, one of those karaoke
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
style type speakers.
Mm-hmm.
I took out there. That was the only way that I could match that. There's no way that I could do it with my own.
Have you ever done any calls?
Oh yeah, plenty of
Like,
calls.
yeah, like with the speaker playing that,
Oh
like in a
yeah,
loop or whatever, and see if they respond or whatever?
yeah. Well, the last time that last time that I was up there,
Uh-huh.
after all this happened, I had that loudspeaker up there with me. And, it's like one of those that's on. You charge it up, and
Yeah.
yeah, it carried, man. I guarantee up on the mountain up there, they heard it.
Yeah,
If there
they
was
had
one
to.
nearby, I would have. There was no doubt I should have got a call back.
Yeah.
And on the other side of this hill, there's a lady that would come to the conference that I would put on in Harlan here, and she would tell me that one morning about 6 o'clock in the morning, her husband was up making a cup of coffee, and he heard the howl. And I talked to him and I asked him. I said, "This is what I heard," and he said, "That's the same thing I heard." And it's on
Wow.
the same ridge line here where I was at. And I was like, I bet we heard the same one, and it's the one that I seen.
Yeah. Wow.
It was crazy.
So do you have? Let me ask you this too, Jimmy. Do you have friends around that area that are into cryptids and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, like I said, I got my buddy Thomas Markham who lives. He runs uh, a website called thecryptocrew.com.
Okay.
And then I've got a friend, a real good friend of mine, who was actually he's I married into the family.
Okay.
Uh, he showed me pictures of him and his buddy were out four wheeling in the mountains here, and they come across footprints by a pond up on the main top of the mountain where there's only access is by through four wheeler or a side by side, and
Right.
nobody had been up there in years because they come back and they were all scratched up from bliers and things like that.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Are you sure you hadn't?" And he said, "No, man." He said, "You know me, I can track. There's no been any other vehicle up there." He said it was up on the main top. When he showed me those pictures, man, it was crazy. And I tried to get him to give me a copy of the pictures, and he won't do it. He's like, "I'll share them to you." He says, "But I don't want them going out nowhere, you know,
Hey
anyone
Jimmy,
else."
Jimmy, I'm sorry. I just noticed you got two guitars back there, man. You play guitar too?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hell yeah, man. That's nice. I wanna go ahead and take the time to show off my baby because I always have it back there. We can't see it because it's almost pure black.
Oh, nice.
It's
Ooh.
almost pure black. It's LTD by ESP.
Ooh, man, that's a nice one.
You know how much this is worth? This one, and it's not the original that James from Metallica used to have back in the '80s. His was custom made, which is like 25,000, fifty
Yeah.
thousand. This one's only worth like $4,000.
That's why I was gonna say like 3,500, but I was
Yeah,
close to it though.
that's it.
That's nice, man.
It's
Yeah,
that one. It's that one he
you
used to
know,
play back then. In the
yeah,
and
I'm
'90s.
I'm 45. I grew, I was in bands in high school playing Metallica and AC/DC and stuff like that.
Mm.
I'm an old metalhead, and
That's
I
why I
just
leave it here because if I don't leave it here where I can grab it quick, then I won't play it, man. I won't take the time to take it out of the case. It's like
I'm
no.
the same
By
way,
the time
man.
you know what I mean. So
I
that's
said
why I leave them here. That way I get to
this
play it
collection that I've got
just
here, man,
whenever.
has probably sat for like, I don't know, months and collected dust. And
Hmm.
I just sometimes I feel like picking it up and playing on it some, and some days I don't. But my wife's wanting to learn piano, so my sis is going to teach her how to, play some tunes and stuff. She plays mandolin, fiddle, bass, guitar, anything, and I'm trying to push her into playing something because I'm a Christian. I go to church, and
Yeah,
I always want if I want to get up and sing, I don't just like using the voice. I want to be able to play the guitar and stuff like that too. So
yeah.
yeah, I've got to get back to playing some and getting
Yeah, and I
houses
like it.
built
I
back
like
on
it because
fingers and stuff.
it's a good hobby. You know what I mean? And you know,
And I find it
you
relaxing, man.
relaxing and you feel the music more once you know the notes to it. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So that's why, like, because I love music, man. Like all music. I love all music. Really, there's
That's the
not
way I've
really
always
much.
been. Rap music, man. I
Yeah,
grew up.
rap music, heavy
I
metal,
grew up in the
rock.
era of
Yeah.
of Tupac, man,
Hmm.
Biggie. I was
Mhm.
teenagers back then, man, and
Yeah,
I just loved that type of music. I love any type of music. I mean, even some classical music I like.
yeah, yeah. Me
But
too.
I
I love country
country,
music, especially
yeah,
like country, like the old country, like the old school country. Plain
yes,
Black, George Strait, all that. Oh man, I love
yeah,
that. I love that. The new ones, I really don't know. I kind of you know left off at like Brooks and Dunn, and that's it. I don't know
yeah.
who's. I don't know any new country singers
Some
after
of
that. You
this,
know what I mean?
I'm same way, man. Some of this newer country music that they try to play and stuff that they're incorporating hip hop and stuff like that with, I don't get into that too good. I'm like you, I like the old stuff. George Strait,
Yeah, yeah.
Rick
Clint
Trevino,
Black, yeah.
Clint Black, Alan Jackson,
Alan
like all the
Jackson.
old country.
Yeah, that's the old school country, man. I don't know.
You can't
To
go
me,
wrong
to
with some
me,
of
it
those
had
hip
like more
man.
meaning, man. I don't know why, but it had more
Yeah.
meaning back then than
Well,
than it does now. Now it's more
who
hip. Now it's more. Back then was like more, to the heart, to the soul. You know what I mean?
it meant more.
Yeah, yeah, it did. It had more meaning. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, just had to mention that because I didn't notice you had those guitars till right now. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Those guitars? I'm like, oh hell yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
like
love
I
my
do. I got my
I'm like
guitar
you,
back
man.
there.
Love my music.
Yeah,
That's what helps me get through the day is music,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Without that, I would be crazy.
yeah.
I'd be
I
being
know.
somewhere.
I know I'm crazy, but I try to,
Yeah.
I try to hold it down with the guitar, with the
Yeah.
music. You know
It's
what I
like,
mean?
"Wow, I'm on camera. I'm
Yeah,
cool, but man, when I'm off,
yeah,
I'm easy. I'm laid back type of dude, man, but like I
yeah,
said, it takes a lot for me to get upset, but
yeah.
when I do get upset, man, it's
Uh,
not the littlest thing can get me, but
yeah, yeah.
music always kept me grounded for years.
Yeah, but you know what? Too, you can't bottle up too many things, man, because that's what happens when you bottle it up a lot. Then boom, you explode one day, and it's like
Exactly.
it's not a pretty picture. You know what I mean? So try not
Yeah.
to let it bottle so much in.
Oh, I had to learn the hard way, when my first wife passed away. I thank God every day that I found Michelle and God put us both together. We needed each other. Not just she needed me more than I needed her. We both needed each other because we both came from a hard background.
Oh yeah,
Grew up poor, you know. I mean,
that's
poor.
why the saying goes: behind every good man is a great woman. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
They're like the backbone of the relationship that make you do the things. Because I mean, dude, let's face it, men are like we don't care about anything. We don't care what color
no,
the vase is, the pot is. We don't care about none of that. They're the ones that
no,
care about that. We don't care what color the curtains are, if there's any. You know what I mean? We don't. And
exactly,
we do it all because of the woman. Really, we do to please the
exactly.
woman. We do that.
Whatever
Oh
makes
yeah,
them
that's
happy,
nice. Yeah, makes you
whatever
happy.
makes
Yeah,
them happy, man, is what
exactly,
we're fine with it. I'm the same way with
exactly.
her.
Yeah.
Whatever she wants, whatever makes her happy, man, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
That saying goes, happy
And you
wife,
feel
happy
everything
life.
right, and you feel everything more with the right woman. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you're
Exactly,
alone, you're single, whatever. It's like you don't really feel. Oh, I want this, coat. You know what I mean? Or or jacket. I really like this jacket. Because you can't ask anybody, what do you think? Do you like this? And
yeah,
if they say,
exactly,
yeah, it looks really nice, then that builds you more confidence, and that makes you want
mhm,
to buy it. Yeah, I'll take it. You know what I mean? But if there's no one
exactly,
there to say that to you, then you're like, oh, no, I'll just get it maybe later or whatever.
yeah.
That's the example I'm trying to give. But anyway, so okay, so let's. How about we move on to the paranormal? I think we have, a
Sure.
few. Yeah, because we're on the hour 19 right now, so I think we got a good another 15, 20 minutes or so that we could talk about paranormal. Let's jump into that, man. Tell me what you've experienced paranormal wise,
Oh, well, man. Where should I start?
or the best ones that you can think of that
Uh,
are kind of like
let's
wow,
see. Back
yeah,
in 2014, a friend of mine
mm-hmm,
got a call from a lady in Glasgow, Kentucky, a little area out west from us.
mm-hmm,
She called us to tell us, well, she actually talked to him first through Facebook, and she had all kinds of activity going on. She had kids. and that was one, trigger for us to go and help was the fact that she had young kids. That's always, in my book, it's always been top priority for any group that I've ever been in, is when kids were involved. So things are being moved, orbs, voices. The youngest little boy that she had kept seeing this lady in the house, and uh, they tried to get more information out of her. He said that she would stand in the corner or around the corner of the door in his bedroom and make faces at him and stuff. And they was asking what type of faces is she making. It's like, well, her face is like this, mommy. And
Like
I'm thinking
distorted?
to my yeah, I'm thinking to myself, maybe there was some type of accident, how this
Right.
person died. She,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
children really can't
Disfigured,
comprehend.
disfigured pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, to them it would be, she's making a face, but actually the face is that way. She's disfigured from an accident or something. Well, we finally get to talking. We talked to her on the phone a little bit. Uh, we decide we're gonna go out for today, and we're gonna go see if we can help. When we get there, they walk us through. They're telling us where the most activity in the home and stuff is at. So we were like, all right, we're going to start downstairs and then we'll work our way upstairs. So we didn't realize that there was a basement down there, and that's where a lot of the activity was in the basement.
Right.
So we're like, okay, we'll start here, then we'll go upstairs, and then we'll go down to the basement afterwards. We start, recording. We're taking video, going through taking pictures and things like that. And after a little bit, I noticed to start seeing, floating stuff in the pictures, orbs. To me, I'm not real big on orbs, and a lot of that stuff to me can be debunked by bugs and dust and things like that. But you get there's a certain type that I can see that I know is a true orb, because these orbs will make their own light, and they're usually a blue. If it's a bug, it's all 90% of the time. Any picture that I've ever taken, it's always been a flash of white or a white orb. We started picking up blue orbs, and I told my buddy Dwayne, who was with me, I said, "Man, you got to come here, check these pictures out." So I'm scrolling through and showing him the pictures, and there's two orbs downstairs in the dining room on each end of the table. And he's like, "Do you think that's like somebody sitting at the table?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So we start getting EMF detectors and stuff and start laying them out. And I no sooner than put mine on the table, I heard a noise and I looked down and a chair kind of like it was bumped up against, but I didn't bump it. It moved a little bit. So I stand back, and when I stood back, it moved about 4 inches. And I said, yes. I said, hold on a minute. So we were trying to hurry up and get REM pods and stuff set up. And, and we were trying to break her necks. No sooner than we got everything set up, we sat there maybe 20, 30 minutes and no more activity after that. Um, I'm going to say maybe 30 minutes after that, we're downstairs talking to the lady and her husband. By this time, her older son, her stepson, had come in and stuff, and they were introducing him to us, and we were doing our nice thing. How are you? We're here for this and that, and um, we keep hearing somebody upstairs, and for a little bit, I'm kind of ignoring it, but I notice the mom is like she keeps looking up ever so often when we hear something, hear a thump or a bump, and then we hear something run across the floor upstairs, and I was like, "Wow, the kids are really upstairs playing, ain't they?" And she's like,
Wow, and that wasn't the kids?
"No."
Holy
She said, "The kids are
crap.
in the kids are in the dining room," and I turn around and lean back in my chair. I see all 4 kids are at the table doing homework, and I was like, jump up real quick and grab my stuff and start running upstairs. And my buddy Dwayne's trying to push me, and I'm trying to run as fast as I can. And we get up there, and we walk into it. from the way we were sitting in the living room underneath on the first floor, it sounded like it ran right straight across. So it runs through 2 bedrooms, through the kids' bedrooms, and goes out into the hallway. And I made Dwayne stay out in the hallway, and there's, like, this little nook. It's, like, maybe a foot and a half off the ground, like, you would put, like, something decorative in that little nook in the wall, and he started setting up recorders in the hallway, and I set up some in the bedroom, and, we just wrapped up there, and I stepped outside into the hallway, and the door behind me slammed. And I turned around real slow, and I said, "Excuse you?" Real smart aleck like, and
I've had that
looked at
happen to
him,
me.
and
A
he
door
said, "Man."
slam.
Yeah.
That was one of my paranormal
He
experiences.
said,
Yeah,
"Man,"
door slam,
he
heavy
says,
door,
"How
heavy
rude can
garage
you
door.
be?"
Yeah,
But, finally, after about 30 more minutes after that door slamming behind me, uh, it upstairs completely quit. So, we go downstairs, and we're talking to them, and she says, "Do you guys wanna go down to the basement where most of the activity's at?" So, we were like, "Yeah, sure." So, we go down there. The dad, the oldest son, which his room was downstairs in that basement, and he had a big couch, big, like a reclining couch and stuff, and, big chairs and things down there, and we were sitting and they were sitting in the chairs, and he was sitting on his couch, and I was sitting on the steps, and Dwayne was standing beside me, and, we're sitting there talking, and we're recording, and I said, "Well, the only way that whoever this is that's here, whatever spirit is that it makes clear communication with us to let us know it wants us gone." No sooner than I said that, dude, I heard the craziest voice say, "Get out." But it
no
was a female
way.
voice.
Female
I
voice.
Yes, a
Oh,
female voice.
like an older lady,
Yeah,
deep
evidently
voice, kind of.
it was the
Yeah.
same entity that the little boy was seeing. The lady, as it called, with the messed up face,
Oh,
and
okay.
we got that on video,
Oh,
and it was crazy. I went through the all day on all that equipment, and the orbs, you could hear the slamming of the door behind me upstairs, and you could hear me turn around and say, "Excuse me?" And then Dwayne laughing at me, and I start laughing, and we both wouldn't shut up because it was hilarious.
yeah.
Because it was just like a nonchalant thing, and by then, I'd seen so much stuff that stuff like that didn't bother me.
Right.
But when we were downstairs and we heard the voice of that female voice say, "Get out." We
Mhm.
both looked at each other, and our eyes got real big, and I said, "Did you hear that?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I hope we caught that on tape, and you can hear me on the video saying that." Uh, we hang out maybe another hour down there, and nothing else happened after that. So we kinda wrapped up our investigation and wanted to get back home before it got late because we were, like, um, 5.5 hours
Mhm.
away from here, from home. But before we left, I asked the kids first. I asked the parents if it was alright if I prayed for the kids. I told, the parents, sometimes, that will help in those type of situations when entities are, bothering kids, you know, basically being nosy and putting themselves in view where they can see 'em to scare them and things like that.
Right.
But before we left, after I'd shook the father's hand, he said, "So you go to church?" And I was like, "Yeah, I go to church." I said, "A Christian man." I said, "How about you all? Do you all go to church? You're religious?" He says, "Well, funny you should say that." He said, "My dad's a preacher." I said, "Oh, really? Cool. What denomination?" He said he was Catholic. He did deliverance. And I looked at him real slow, and I said, "Deliverance? You mean exorcisms, deliverance, that type?" He said, "Yeah. My dad's done 185 exorcisms
Wow.
in his time before he quit being a preacher or a priest
Appreciate.
and retired." And
Oh
I was like, I'm
God.
thinking to myself, "Why didn't you bring this?" I said, "How come you didn't bring this up during the interview?" He's
Mhm.
like he just shrugged his shoulders. He's like, "Well, I didn't think it would make that much of a difference." He says, "Well, you should have been talking to my son, and his son's standing right there beside me." And I was like, "What do you mean? Why would I want to talk to your son? Tell him, son." He kept elbowing him. He
Mhm.
said, "We." He says, "You know the graveyard down below, the apartment complex here?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We go down there and do witchcraft."
Oh. Good.
I said, "You go what do you mean witchcraft?" He says, "We go down there, we light candles, we have seances and stuff." The son had been bringing all this stuff for years.
Right.
It
Oh,
was a
that's why.
combination of
Attachments.
things that had stuck to the father
Yeah.
because of his, uh, involvement with his dad being an
Right.
exorcism, and the son going to graveyards and poking
Practicing
around at
witchcraft.
things he shouldn't be doing,
Yeah.
and it was
Wow.
crazy.
That's crazy,
Uh, Now I've recently had talked to him. They
man.
finally got away from there. The son had moved out years ago, and
Mhm.
they hadn't had any more problems after they moved from there. And I told him, just gotta set your foot down and take back your home, take back your life." And they started going to church. They went to church and got prayed over, and are doing much good. And they hardly ever hear anything at all anymore in their home. So I was glad to hear that.
Well, that's good.
But out of all, uh, other than my experience that got me started when I was 16 years old, that's the craziest stuff I'd ever seen,
Right.
doing paranormal.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's crazy stuff, man. Being pushed out of bedrooms by ghosts and doors slammed back behind.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just crazy though. I was so glad that we caught that voice on camera telling us to get out of there.
Right. Hey, let me ask you something, man. The movie, well, actually, the series, I don't know how many parts there is, but the Paranormal Activity. What's your take on that? Do you think that's real? I mean, it does happen, or it's all Hollywood,
Oh,
man? What
no,
do you think?
paranormal activity. I mean, the devil is real, man. His
Yeah.
meanings are real, and um, I've got a good friend who
Because I mean,
is
I think it does happen, but maybe not that much. Like you,
it doesn't
obviously,
happen as
it's a
much as you
movie, so they got to enhance it to make it interesting and all that. Right?
when
I get
you
it, but
when you as an investigator, you've got to vet each person that says they have something going on in their home. And one of the first things that you should have in your interview that you do is asking personal questions. And we always will bring it up with folks. We need to know if you have a history of mental illness or if anyone in your family does. Some folks will get offended by that. Some folks won't. They would just flat out tell you, yeah, because we need to rule that out to make sure that the person is not hearing this and it's not a mental disease, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, and they're not hearing these things in their head, and it's actually things that are happening. And the Catholic Church today do that too. They have questionnaires that they go that they ask they ask a whole lot more personal questions than what we would normally do for an interview. And it helps with what we're going up against. Gives us puts us in the right mind. If this person needs just some psychiatric help, needs to talk to a counselor or a psychiatrist that way, or if they're actually experiencing paranormal activity. After we get through those two pieces of paper and we don't think that there's any type of mental illness involved, then we'll go on in and go into the big interview where we walk through the home and ask them questions, what they're seeing, what's going on, if they're seeing things move. Um, a lot of poltergeist activity that I've come across, to me, almost had borderline at, some cases being right up there with,
that
demonic.
you know what, Jimmy, that's another question I was going to ask you right now. I remember you mentioning something about an abandoned house or a haunted house that you went to that you pretty much explored or whatever. Can you tell us more about that? I want to see what happened there. You said you went to
Oh,
like a
we've
haunted house or a haunted house basically.
there's
Was it
been
was it
so
abandoned? Like
there's
one of those
been
abandoned
so
houses?
many. Oh yeah, we used to go to a lot of abandoned places
Mm-hmm.
growing up as a teenager and stuff. But what started me actually into the whole paranormal stuff was when I was 16 old.
Mm-hmm.
I had was dating a girl, and I had been to her house, and her family joked and joked about me. They just nonchalantly kept saying, "Oh, yeah, our house is haunted," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't believe in that stuff." Well, I got fooled one night. Um, we had went and sat out on the balcony, and I kept feeling something. I'll try to be quick with this. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Uh, I kept feeling something rub up against my leg, and I thought it was the cat. But we were upstairs on the balcony, and I kept feeling it, and I was like, after a while, I started leaning over as I'm talking to my girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm trying to get this cat here on it, to keep it from rubbing up against the back of my leg." And she says, "We're upstairs. We're in the air. The cats can't get up here." And when she said that, I was like, "What?" And I kind of leaned forward my the glider that we were in. This big long old school uh, metal glider, and I turned around and looked at her. I was like, "What?" I was like, "When I look," it's like it dawned on me. Yeah, we were upstairs on the balcony. The cats couldn't get up to it. So I stood up at that time, and when I stood up, I noticed out the corner of my eye, the screen door on the porch there opened up a little bit, just like, and it closed back. And then when this started happening, she started laughing, and she looked at me and she said, "You're in for it now." I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You just wait, just watch."
Hmm.
She said, "Oh, you know what's gonna break loose now," and it sure did, dude. Little by little, about 4 times, this door would open up just a little bit and close back. Because the last time that it opened all the way up and smacked up against the wall, and then slapped back real hard. By this time, I'm feeling something rubbing up against my legs, and I look down, and my Bluetooth removed, and there's nothing there.
Wow.
I got so scared, dude. I ran straight through the screen door, tripped halfway down the steps, and when I landed, I rode right out in front of her mom, who sat in a recliner at the bottom of the steps. And her mom's cackling. She said, "I heard what was going on upstairs." She said, "How do you like our little friend up there?" She said, "Are we haunted?" I said, yeah." I said, "Can you take me home?" I ended up going home, but
Yeah.
over the years, I got to be real good friends, the longer we dated with her brothers, her older brothers and stuff, and I would go and stay with them quite a bit, and we would see that same door, but it was old coal camp houses that were made out of solid wood, these doors. And we would poke our heads out of the bedroom, and we would take turns to see who would run down the hallway and shut the door before it opened back up. And
Yeah.
I remember one time I got halfway down the hallway and it opened up and hit the wall of the house inside and jarred the whole side of the house, it felt like. And I took off running back to the bedroom. I was like, That basically got me started in
Right.
the whole paranormal craziness that I've been
Right.
in over the years.
Well, I've had a we. I don't have. We don't have time for me to talk about mine, but many people have heard them before. You on my channel or on my interviews on other channels. That's why really talk about them because it's just they're interviewing me, so I have all the time in the world to talk about me, right?
Yeah.
But here, I like my guests to talk more about themselves. But uh, I was just gonna say, like, to me, it seems like a lot of people that go, exploring. That's what the word is called, exploring abandoned buildings, abandoned houses, and it's mostly like young people, teens or whatever. They like to go out there. I've heard many encounters actually, dogman encounters that happened because of that. Because there was a couple on Big Show. There was a couple, young couple. The guy wanted to go, explore a house, abandoned house, 2 story. They go into like the back, window or whatever. They start exploring the house. There's holes everywhere. The stairway is kind of like halfway, broken down, whatever. They find a way to go upstairs, and once they're upstairs, they hear something outside, like in the porch, walking like doing all this, right? And they figure out that it's a dog man, you know and then
Wow.
they have to run around the rooms and come back down the stairs and beat them outside to get to the car and take off. And somehow they did, miraculously, whatever, but they did.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that's exploring an abandoned building. Now there's another one that I've seen or that I heard, and that's like my all-time favorite dog man. Like crazy story, man. It's like a group of kids. Just real quick, guys. It's a group of kids that they go to like this abandoned either hospital or one of those crazy places. What are they called? Asylums.
Asylum.
Yeah, and they climb up to like the ladder, the back ladder that goes. You know how you got the ladders going down for emergency.
Like the fire
The
escape.
fire
Yeah.
escape, yeah. Well, it wasn't all the way to the ground. It was like maybe 6 foot up or something like that. And they had to jump up to grab onto that and get up there and go inside the building. Well, this one is like that. It's like that. And I don't know if it was 3 or 4. The dumbest thing they did. Well, that's what makes it more scarier too. The story, because it is just a story. Nobody has ever told that encounter, like claiming that it's theirs. It's just a story, right? So it might be just creepypasta. I don't know. But anyway. And I don't remember where I heard it, but man, it was such a good story. It was such a good narration. I can't remember which one it was. I heard one not too long ago on a channel that I really don't care to mention, but they kind of told that story again, that same story, but I know it wasn't them, the original ones that told that story. This was just like maybe a month or 2 months ago. It came out on I don't know what.
And
what
I listen to
what
a
channel,
lot.
whatever.
I
But
listen to
but
a lot of
but this
dog
was so
man
good.
channels and stuff.
Let me finish this for you, Jimmy. This is so good, right? So this guy went down to the morgue, bro, of that because it was asylum and it was a morgue, and the other two guys went, other places, whatever. There was water everywhere from the leaking, the fans and the rain, whatever. Water getting in the building or whatever. And so there was waters and puddles everywhere. Well, this guy goes down to the morgue. He's curious to go see if he can find any type of like dead residue, tissue of dead bodies down there. Right? He went down there. So all of a sudden, he heard like a door slam, like kind of far away, like where he was going. Slam open, boom. He said, "Oh shit, it's probably these guys, right?" So he said,
Yeah.
I'm a hide from them, whatever." And he jumped on top of how they got those stainless steel, bins and
Yeah.
where they put all their their
Like
stuff in,
shelving.
whatever. Yeah, like
Yeah.
shelves and stuff, and But he said he got up there, and then he heard this, what he described was a dog man later, like walking towards him, and he heard the puddles, the steps on the puddles and everything. And then he got this ugly, musky, pungent, nasty smell from
Wet
this
dog.
wet dog, yeah, from this, yeah, basically, dog man. And he said, "Oh shit!" And he saw it, and he said he kind of just, kind of like backed up, and luckily there was a window between that wall where he could go into the next room, right? And then that next room was some type of storage or something like that, and then that room had another window, and he was trying to get through there too to get to whatever was behind that. While the dog man saw him, smelled him, found out he was there, breaking that one door down while he was trying to get to that third room. Got in that one. Yeah, it's super crazy, man. That's like my all-time favorite stories, not encounter story. And then he goes to that room, and then he tries to go to the next room where he was already at. So he's trying to get out the next room after that, and it was like to the docks. The last one was like towards the docks. You know how where they got the docks where the
Yeah.
rigs come back and
Yeah.
and shipping and receiving whatever and deliver whatever. And he said that the dogman got through the second door. He knocked that one down, and he finally got to that one. And he said he ran out, and he had to go back up the hill or something like that. And his friends were like over there or whatever. But anyway, they had to all run out and get out of the building before he got out and chased them. It was
God,
crazy, man. I'm like, damn, that was such a good
I bet
story.
that was a good story.
Yes, man.
I'll
If
have
anybody's out there, and y'all know what story I'm talking about, this was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So, guys, it's like one of the first stories that I've heard when I got into, dogman encounters. I know Vic's channel's been up for like 7 years. I got in there when it was 2 years, so it's 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and that's why I know. So this was like very back then, and I just can't remember, man. I don't know if it was a supernaturalist. I don't know if it was what's that other one? I got like three or good. I can't even remember the names right now, but I got like three good channels that I started watching. I don't know if it was Swamp Dweller. I don't know, man, but there's so many now. You know what I mean? But so
yeah.
I can't really remember which one it was. But anyway, it was a great story, guys. Y'all gotta check that out. And if anybody knows what story that is and where it's at and where I can find it, if y'all can comment down below after we finish the show, if y'all can comment and say, hey, that one you were talking about is from so and so, so and so episode, or it's called this right here, whatever, Dogman in an asylum, abandoned building asylum, or whatever. I mean, just give me some type of lead how I can find it, because I can't find it. I've been looking for forever for that. But yeah, that's another crazy one that has to do with what we were talking about, Jimmy. You know, with the the paranormal and the abandoned buildings is what I was going to. Okay. Now there was another guy that I love watching abandoned building explorations, because it's just
Yes, I do
creepy.
too.
It's
Yeah.
creepy, bro. You know what I mean? And I follow like 2 or 3 guys that have their channel. Basically, that's all they do, just abandoned buildings, right? And they tell you the story of what whose house that was, and how long it was there, since when it's been abandoned, the cars that are left there, all that. It's pretty neat, man. I like that. But anyway, one time this guy went into a building. It was an abandoned building. Again, abandoned building. And he ran into some type of bad entity or whatever, because he drained his camera, and this guy was like, what the hell? Why is my battery so
Yeah,
drained?
pulling power
It
as
was
we call
full,
it.
and it just got boom, just
Yeah.
drained. Like, what the fuck? So he tried to grab another battery to put in or whatever. And while he was doing that, he was like kind of like crouched down, where you're not touching the ground or anything. You're just crouched down on your
Yeah.
legs, but they're all bent like this, right? So
Yeah.
anybody pushes you, you're gonna fall over. You know
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Straight over.
about? Okay, well that's what happened, bro. He pushed him real big time, and boom, man, that dude went rolling and fell over. But the good thing about it is that he had left another camera like over there on top of a box
Ah,
facing
yeah.
him. So he caught that on camera, dude, where he was pushed and everything.
Oh,
It was
I bet that
crazy.
was
I'm like,
awesome.
man, yeah. And so a lot of times, and then there's another one on Vid Show. I can't remember which one it is, but there's another one where these guys, it's in, man, I can't remember the damn name right now. I think it's in Ohio somewhere. It was like a coke plant, and there were abandoned buildings there. And this was back like in the 80s or whatever. And a bunch of kids used to go down these, coke hills. You know what coke is, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that white powder kind of thing where
Yeah.
they use for, okay. Well, they would go down that hill and then go into the buildings, and there was like a railroad back there. And I seen it. I actually went and Googled this place, and yeah, it does exist. And it's there. I was like, I wonder what building it was, man. I was just looking at it all around.
Yeah, trying to
What
figure
building
out
it
which
was,
one it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, because they were in that building, in the abandoned building, and that's what they did. They used to go drink beer, smoke cigarettes, whatever. Just, do kid stuff, right? Teens back in
Yeah.
those days, 80s, whatever. And they said that they heard a howl, and they're like, what the hell? And they saw all these dogs come out, or coyotes or something, and they were all running, and they were all a couple of them were fighting with this thing, and this thing was beating them up bad, and they
Wow.
were all and these things were just kind of like scrounging away, whatever. And then and then they saw it come out of the woods or whatever, and just stand there, and they were on the second floor, and he looked up at them, and they're like, "Holy shit!" He saw us, and sure enough, he came around where he was at. He came in the building, started going up, the second floor, going to get him while they were trying to get down and around,
Yeah.
and and it was
That's
scary. And
bad.
they got away, dude. They got away, and they had to climb up two hills to get to to like the neighborhoods and stuff like that. Yeah, I actually Google Earth that place, and it does exist. So yeah, that was a true
That's
story.
crazy.
Yeah, man. But again, abandoned buildings. See, so that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and
A lot
people
of
don't
things
think
happen
about stuff.
at
Yeah,
abandoned buildings.
I mean, it's not just animals themselves. It's untelling, like dogma.
Yeah,
You know, uh,
yeah,
there's areas here in Kentucky, especially here in Harlan, where man's feet have not hit the ground in 50 years that have abandoned buildings.
that is
And
true.
that would be one place that you would be able to probably find some type of sign that something big has been in there other than abandoned.
Yeah, you're gonna run into something because why? Because they claim that it's their own. They see no humans there for years and years and years, and they're like, okay,
Exactly.
they're not coming back, so we can claim this. Okay, yeah, let's
I
make a
mean, it's
den
just
here.
like,
Let's
yeah,
make
like dog
whatever.
man. All they
Yeah,
would have to do is walk in the area and sniff. If they don't smell humans and they haven't been, they don't smell that smell in a long time, they're going to take that area over. They're going to claim it as
yes,
their own.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. And then what happens? Someday somebody comes around and like, holy crap, what's this? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? But yeah, that's
and run
exactly what
into
it
a dog
is.
man.
There's places that have been abandoned for years and years, like you said, up to 50 years. And what do you think's going to happen? Of course,
Exactly.
nature's going to take over for one.
Yeah,
The overgrowth of weeds and grass and all that, and
that's like
and
one of the perfect
animals.
place for a type of creature like that to
Yeah,
live at, though.
yeah. And you're going to see all kinds of raccoons and possums in
Yeah,
there, and spiders and all that. That they made it their home, regular animals, and then but you might not get lucky and find one of these cryptids in there too.
exactly.
That's why I personally wouldn't like to go looking for like at abandoned building, exploring an abandoned building because of that. Especially not in the Appalachian land. There's
We
people that
used we used to do it quite a bit growing up. We used to go to old coal temples and climb up into the coal temples. I mean, there would be the bolts holding the old wooden stairs in would be like rusted. There would be no wood, and we would like split leg walk up to the top and get into the top of these coal temples. Man, owls. We've run across fox sometimes, all the way up into the top of the coal temples. Man, it's crazy when an animal's hungry and it sees something up high, it will figure out a way to get up high to get to that food. And
yeah, absolutely. Especially if there's no humans around, it's gonna
yeah, we
figure
had
out a
we had
way.
a friend one night. He stepped up and he just so happened to turn around in one of the windows that was up on like the third story of this coal temple, and he turned around and all he seen was we heard him scream, and we come running up the belt line to him. And he's crouched down over in the corner. He said, "Man, all I did was turn around and seen eyeballs looking back at me." And he said it tripped me out. He said, "Somebody shoo that stupid owl away." And that was a big old hoot owl, man. Big old eyeballs looking right back at him. Tripped him out.
Oh yeah,
It
they're
was hilarious
scary.
to us,
Owls are
man.
scary in the
Oh,
darkness,
yeah.
man. Especially if all you see is their eyes, their big round eyes, and their
Even the
beak.
noise, man, will mess with you if
Yeah,
you don't know
yeah,
what you've never heard the owl
yeah,
before.
yeah. They
It'll
make
mess with
like
you.
a kind of like a screech sound. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It is. I mean,
Off of the distance, to me, it's sometimes it sounds like a woman screaming. So I mean, it mess with you, especially when you're young, man, out in abandoned places. But that was classic for us growing up. You
yeah,
my age growing up as teenager from the early '90s on through, and just getting out and exploring places and going where other people won't go because we knew that nobody been there in a while. We wouldn't have to worry about nobody trying to run us out, or to call the cops on us, something like that. So that was just
yeah,
classic for us. Um, going up on mountaintops, building cabins to have a place to party at on the weekend when I got older. That's just the way, I grew up.
yeah. Hey, I do want to say, like, before we go, guys, the interview with Jody Cook. If y'all are interested in watching that, I'm gonna post it tomorrow on my Facebook group, which is Carlito Encrypted Kingdom with Carlito and Tom. Um, I'm gonna post it tomorrow. That way, if you're interested, say, hey, I want to check out that video Carlito was talking about. Jody could be interviewed and talking about
Awesome.
all that stuff. Where his thoughts about the aggressiveness more to the Appalachia than to the non-aggressiveness of these cryptids to the west, which is California, basically Washington, right, and even Canada. So I'm gonna post that tomorrow on my group so everybody can see it if they want to, and then I'm gonna post. Also, Jimmy. I'm gonna post on my group. If you're not part of it, go ahead and join, bro. I'm gonna post the one with Vic, the one I was talking about right now, the abandoned building, and the coke plant and the train tracks and all that. I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna look it up. I think I have it saved in my favorites on my
Sweet.
Dogman Encounter favorites. Yeah, with
Yeah, I'll
Vic.
have to check those out. I'd like to hear
It's
those.
it's it's cool, man. It's really cool. You're gonna enjoy it, man. I'm gonna post it tomorrow so y'all can have a good listen on that, and that's it, guys. And we'll I'm gonna try to see. I've been really busy with work lately the past month. That's why you guys haven't seen me make a, a podcast show till tonight. But maybe the last one was like a month ago, I believe it was, Jimmy. But yeah, because I've been so overworked, with work right now, man. Overwhelmed with work, so I can't find the time to talk to my guests, to set up a date for a show because I don't know what's going to happen because I'm so busy right now.
Yeah.
That's why, and I'm almost done. So when I'm done with that, then I'll have time to talk to my guests and set the dates up a little bit more closer to each other. Like every week or 2 weeks, not every month. You know what I mean? So yeah, I apologize for that, guys, and just letting y'all know what's going on right now, and we'll see y'all on the next show that I get. I already have some people that I'm talking to, so we'll hope everything comes out good, and I'll get to set the dates to book them for future dates. And thank you guys, everybody, for coming in, and thank you all the new people that came in tonight as well. If you haven't subscribed, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I seen today it grew like maybe 15 new members or new subscribers, I should say. After posting it on that big group that I told you, Jimmy.
Awesome.
Yeah, 7,800 people now. So yeah, I said, man, you know what? Go ahead and post it there because
It's been fun, man.
group.
I
Yeah,
appreciate everybody
yeah.
that's
Thank you,
came in
Jimmy.
too
Thank you
and
for
asked
coming in.
questions and stuff.
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. And Jimmy, one more time, can you tell everybody where they can find you again, please, and tell them about your show as well.
Facebook and YouTube at Appalachian Tales of Terror with
All
host
right,
with Jimmy B. Can't miss it.
Jimmy B. Yeah, I put the link on the comments. I don't know if I know Shane saw it. He's like, thank you, bro. But if anybody else wants to, they can check the comments and I put the link to your channel, Jimmy. Yeah.
All right,
So
man. I appreciate it.
so they can go check you out, brother. You got a good show, by the way, bro. You got a good show, man. I like the way you narrate things, and I like how you
Thanks. I
interview
appreciate it.
interview people too as well. So yeah, you're kind of mixing it up. I don't narrate. I don't narrate because I'm not a good narrator, but I just
Hey, thanks, Shane, man. I appreciate that. Much love, bro.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Shane. Appreciate you, brother. That's my bro Hana, man. Um, we're a tight group, me, him, and a couple other guys. But yeah, man. Thanks everybody for showing up tonight and showing support. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you. I saw that it did go up, and I'm hoping to reach my first 1,000 members soon. I think it's at 940 or 950, something like that. Yeah, close to 950.
Let's go, folks. Let's get this
Yeah.
man up. Come on.
Yeah, man. I want to go. I want to go because when you're at 1,000 and you have certain views,
Yeah.
you can both go live directly on YouTube. You don't have to use a third party like I am now with StreamYard,
Yeah.
and you can be not necessarily you will be, but you can be monetized if you meet the requirements. So
Yep.
you get like a super chat thing on your lives where people can donate. You know what I mean? $1, $2, $5, whatever. I've seen people donate up to like $50 and $100. I'm like, damn,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
crazy. But yeah, I'm not doing it for the money, but any little bit does help.
You know,
You know
yeah,
what I
it
mean?
does. I
what
mean,
we do.
it takes time to do these shows, man,
Yeah, of
and
course.
get the equipment and stuff
Our
together. Stuff's
setup, our
expensive.
equipment, our mic, you know what I mean? Our computer, our streamer, all that. Like if you have the money to get the premium on StreamYard, that's like an extra. Instead of the free version, I think it's like $15 or $20 a month. You know what I mean? Which I don't, because I
Yeah,
have YouTube. I have YouTube Premium, and I already pay that, so I don't want to pay both. You know what I mean? And I don't have enough
yeah,
shows. I don't have enough shows to pay for that. If I had a show like every 2-3 days, then yeah, I would pay for that. It'd be worth it.
yeah,
But
no doubt.
I have only like maybe 2 or 3 shows a month. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not worth it
Yeah, I'm the same way.
for me.
Like I said, I'm getting ready to get started back full time, and full time for
Yeah,
me is a 1 week show, but I'm gonna try to like put that off on Spotify and other shows too. So I have to take
yeah.
time to break it down into a audio file and edit and all that good stuff too. So
Yeah. You know
yeah,
what I have seen, Jimmy's, like people that, like, one guy gets the premium, right, and names his show, but then he gets like other people to join his same account and just change the name to their shows. So they're, I don't know if
yeah,
they split the bill or what, but you know what I mean, like,
yeah,
but they could split it 2, 3, 4 ways or whatever, and then like, I wouldn't mind paying $5 for it instead of 12, a month, whatever. But
yeah,
you have to be in a group of
in a group, yeah,
yeah, to do that, and I've seen that already. Like, there's a bunch of them that are like that. That's why they have different shows and different channel names on there, but it's the same.
yeah,
It's the same account basically. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to. Who was it? Nighthawk actually invited me to do that. He's like, "Hey man," because he's got the premium. He's like, "Hey
awesome,
man, come on my show, and just name it your Cryptid Infernal Kingdom." But you'll have the background, you'll have the little thing going across the bottom like that, whatever legend you want it to read. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, man, but I just don't feel right now. I don't know. Thank you, Nighthawk, for offering me that, man. But I just don't feel right, bro. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you don't have to pay me anything. You don't have to, but I don't feel right, man. Just taking advantage of something like that. I don't. I mean, now if we're talking money, then yeah, I'd be like, hey, yeah, let me pitch in this much or whatever, and then yeah,
yeah.
sure, I'll jump on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, but that's the way it is. Hey, Danny Staten, thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks,
He said
man.
I'll be live at 1 a.m. Eastern. Awesome. He said great show as well. Thank you, Danny Staten. And Shane, yeah, he said great show. And obviously read that already, Jimmy. You're awesome, brother. Subscribe for your content. Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
You got a new subscriber, brother.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I like
Well,
talking about this type of stuff, but I also like folks like you and like Shane, that
mhm.
take it seriously,
Yeah, we do.
like to have a good time, man. That's what it's all about. That's what makes shows like this great.
Yes,
It's just,
and I'm not, Jimmy. I'm not, judging anybody. Everybody's entitled to do however they want to do their show. But here, on my channel and on Shane's channel and on Tom's channel, because I know that's our mo. That's how we operate, bro.
yeah,
We
that's
get
that's
actual
the same way.
eyewitnesses, actual guests that, or other podcasts, because they've had encounters too. Like, we've had other people from other podcasts because they've had encounters, so they come on our shows and tell their encounters. See what I'm saying? Even
Hmm.
though they have their own podcast too, but
Yeah,
and some people saying, oh, they're just interviewing each other or whatever. No, we're not just interviewing each other. We're interviewing somebody that had an actual encounter. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
so yeah, so that's, I mean, like I said, we don't want to like belittle anybody or anything, but stories, they anybody can make up a story. You know what I'm saying? And we're not,
exactly.
we don't make up stories. We bring actual people that had an encounter as an eyewitness, that had a sighting, and interview them here to tell us and the people in the chat, and the the viewers in the in the channel, whoever views this, that way they can learn from this, and we can spread awareness, on how these things happen, why they happen, what to do, what not to do.
Exactly.
Shane knows all about it. I taught him that since he first got on on the scene. He's like, yeah, man, that's absolutely right, Carlito. He said, that's what I want to do. I said, okay, well, go for it. And boom, he started his show, and boom, he grew big. Uh, Real quick, in 1 year, he almost caught up to me on my YouTube channel in 1 year, where I've been having my channel for 2 years. So I'm like at 950 or something, right? He's like at 700 already, 700 or something. So he's almost caught up to me in just 1 year. See, so obviously people love his charisma and his his attitude, and and his kindness, and his realness, and his what do you call it? He's really like respectable. You know what I mean? He's got
Yeah,
values. Yeah.
people like it when you're yourself,
Yeah.
when you don't act scripted and fake. Yeah.
Right, and he's like really, well spoken, and he hardly doesn't say any bad words like I do. But that's just me. That's the way I am. I mean, you either
Exactly,
like
man.
it or
It's
you
like I
don't.
said, be
I'm
yourself.
sorry. If you like it, that's cool. If you don't, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? That's just me, and I'm not going to change.
I've heard worse, brother.
I'm not going to try to be somebody just to somebody I'm not, just to look good for other people and
Exactly.
gather a bigger crowd. I don't care about that.
That's right.
If
It's
you
called
like
being
me,
fake,
you like
bro.
me, you come. Yeah, exactly. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, I don't care about thousands and thousands of subscribers. I'm good with 200 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that's the way I am, and that's the way. If you like me, come back to my channel and come check me out again. If you don't like me, that's fine. Just move on. Go look for another channel. I mean, nobody's holding anything against you. I won't. I'm not going to hold anything against you. So, that's the way it is, man, and that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? But everybody does their own thing, and I like your setup. You know what I mean? Like I said, I like your storytelling, and you got that voice, man. You got that. You got that going on, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
And I like how you mix it up with interviewing people and stuff too. So that's awesome, bro. You're doing a great job, man. I think you're gonna make it big pretty soon, man. It's just for you to hit that one spot and boom,
Yeah.
It's like a snowball. Bigger and bigger, yeah. But yeah, man. So all right, Jimmy. Well, thank you again, man, for coming tonight, brother, and telling us about your
I
encounters.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'll have to get you to come on my show, and we can just have us
that'd be great.
A talk night, man. Just sit around and just talk about a little bit everything.
Yeah. We'll have a conversation. I can tell you about my paranormal experiences. How about that?
Yeah. I'd like to hear all that stuff, man. Yeah. Especially the cryptid stuff. Yeah, man. I like to hear that.
All right. Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll set that up, brother. That's not a problem.
All right, man.
Cool. So yeah, everybody, it's we just hit the 2 hour mark, and so that's about as much as I go, man. 2 hours.
Yeah.
I try to go like maybe an hour and a half, at the most 2 hours. That's it. After that, it's just like people just get tired and they just leave.
Yeah, it's like
I would too,
It's 12:43 a.m. here on the East Coast, so
yeah. But thank you everybody that came in, man. Thank y'all very much. Carlito Castro, your host. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everything, your support on the YouTube channel and on Facebook. If you guys aren't on the Facebook group, it's Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom with Carlito and Tom. That's the full name on Facebook. You have to answer a couple of questions or whatever, and you'll get accepted. And also, you can find me on Instagram, which is Cryptid and Paranormal Kingdom, with all underscore dashes in between each word. All right, I've been getting some subscribers on that too, so. And I put up content like videos and scary videos and stuff like that. So, yep. All right, guys. Well, have a great night, and thank you everybody for spending your Saturday night, 2 hours of it, with us, with me and Jimmy. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And absolutely, Brahana. No, I got much love for you, brother. I do. And I'll talk to you later, Brahana. And so we'll see you guys on the next one, man. I will let you know. Hopefully within a week or so, I'll have my next. Because I am going to have a little bit more time now that the big project is almost over. So hopefully within a week or 2 weeks at the most, I'll do another show, guys, and I'll put it up on Facebook to announce the new show. All right, guys. Well, all right. Well, that pretty much sums it up for us tonight, Jimmy. Anything you want to say to the people out there, man?
Hey,
Just
folks.
As a closing.
Go help this man out. Go like and subscribe. Make sure to all his social media, guys. Help this man out.
Thank you,
He's a
man.
good guy.
I appreciate you, brother. I'm a real guy, man. I might not be the nicest guy. I might not be the sweetest guy. Might not be, but I'm a honest guy. I am honest. I
I
am
can
honest.
tell, man. I really
I'm
can
very
tell.
honest, bro. Yes, I'm very honest. I don't bullshit. I don't. There's no shade of gray. It's either white or black with me. That's it, man. You know what I mean? Shane knows that. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just honest, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's good or bad, Sorry, but I'm just honest. But yeah, see you guys next time. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell for future shows. And thank you, everybody. Thank you for your continued support. And thank you once again, Jimmy. Thank you, man. You got it, brother. All right. Peace out, everybody. Good night. Thank you for spending some time with us tonight. Thank you. Shane, much love. Peace out, man. Danny Staten, thank you for coming in. And I can't really remember who all else. Nighthawk, thank you, Nighthawk. Al Santoriga, my boy, Al Santoriga. All right, guys, we'll see y'all next time. And Carlito Castro, your host. Take that off of there real quick. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I'm Carlito Castro, your host, and I will see you guys next time on the next show. Peace out. See ya.